So welcome everyone to our community call for 2025. So it's been a good couple of years now that the European chapter of the Ecological Forecasting Initiative has been up and running. And I personally feel like we've really gained some momentum in the last year or so. So it's a really exciting time for the chapter, and we're really grateful to have you all involved in it. Today we're going to cover, I can probably move. Right, hang on,
You're
let me go back to the beginning. Okay, there we go. So today we're going to cover what we've done from the European chapter's perspective in the past year, looking at the activities we've been involved in, some of the successes. Then we'd like to understand a bit more about what the year's been like for you. So it's been a year of change, thinking about how that might have affected you personally or your work, and how that influences the role of ecological forecasting, and how we as a chapter might support the community going forward. We'll then look forward about activities we're planning on doing in the next year as a chapter, and think about how you might be interested in getting involved with those. And then we'll hopefully have some time at the end for some questions or anything else that anyone wants to raise. Okay. Maria, is this you?
Yes, that's me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna head right in. Thank you very much, Vicky. I couldn't agree more. I think so. First of all, thank you all for joining, and I also think that after initial startup in 2023, where we had to build everything up, we're now really in a great moment to move forward with a lot of the initiatives that we suggested in the beginning. And one of the perhaps most consistent things that we've been doing, and I think, and we probably all agree, has been very successful, is to host our monthly seminars. We've now had 23 seminars, which are always held on the second Wednesday of every month, except for July and August. The next 2 months will be off, and they're always at 1 p.m. during lunch hour. Depending on the time zone. And we've now had a huge variety of speakers across different topics, across different career stages, different places, all of them talking about their work related or directly doing ecological forecasting. So I think it's great. We're definitely continuing with this next semester onwards. And so we are setting up a schedule from September 2025. We already have some speakers lined up. But we are still looking for presenters. So if you know someone who would be a great fit or who wants to talk about ecological forecasting, they can drop us an email, either to Jody or to me or to Biller. We are the main ones that are currently organizing this. And yes, and you can find below there the web link to all of our seminars, and you can watch as many as you want online. I think all except one or two are available online. So next slide. Conferences. I can also talk about this a little bit, and then some of the organizers of the conferences can also jump in. You can see maybe like the timeline of activities that when we started in 2023, we said, oh, we're going to do lots of conferences and sessions, and we managed to do one. Someone says that they cannot hear me.
I can.
Does everyone else hear?
I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, that it was Maria. Says she cannot hear me. Sorry about that. But maybe, okay, never mind. I will continue. So it could also be that my internet is a bit flaky, but I'll try my best. So conference sessions. We did one at the GFÖ in Germany in 2023. You can see that at the second, like the third image. Oh no, that's not true. No, there's no image. Ah, yes, that's the lowest image of them. So we did one for the GFÖ, and then we did one in 2024, which was the big one, which was really great. We introduced our chapter at the EFI conference in Finland, but you can tell that we're really taking off now in 2025. So we've managed to do conferences either on thematic sessions about ecological forecasting, or we're doing workshops, as you see also below. So for instance, we've done now one workshop successfully, and I will talk a little bit about this further on. But we've done a workshop where we really try to implement forecasting workflows to forecast biodiversity changes with relevance for conservation management. And we are proposing to do so, and some of these proposals have already been accepted, to do this at other international conferences. Right, and so in between the workshops and the conference sessions, we are becoming more and more active in international with international communities, and we get a lot of really nice feedback. And I think this has been quite exciting. But here again, if some of you want to get involved or have some ideas or want to use some of our material adapted, please let us know. I don't know if anyone else wants to add something here. No? Okay. Next slide. Workshop. So we're talking about the workshop that we just set up. Patricia is also joining along with Biller and I, also some collaborators from the US, and now also Kara. We've been really active trying to set up forecasts for changes in abundances of plants and hopefully also animals soon in the Doñana National Park, which is a high biodiversity hotspot, and where managers really need and are increasingly interested in predictions, short-term predictions of ecosystem processes. And we're using this sort of as a nice baseline to develop forecasting challenges and to teach people how to do forecasts within conferences. And we're trying to develop some courses and so forth. And you can find them here online. Yes, I don't know if Patricia wants to add something to this. Because Biller
more about it in coming slides as well.
Never mind then. Okay, so we'll talk about this in coming slides. Next slide. Yeah, and just with the forecasting workflows, one thing that we are currently that's currently challenging is to set it up on external servers that makes it possible to run it in an efficient manner. We're using an Amazon server, which the free version is quite limited. But we got lucky, we got involved with the European research infrastructure, which is LifeWatch, and they are offering to host our forecasts and our future forecast challenges that we develop on their servers. And we're just now, like this Friday, we're meeting with them to talk about how to actually make this happen. And so the meaning that the thing you see on GitHub now, the workshop or the materials, will hopefully migrate to the LifeWatch and will be more accessible and easier to run and easier for us to use as a community as well and to adapt. Next. And one thing also that I wanted to point out, aside from the workshop, is that next year we are organizing a whole conference dedicated to predictions and ecological forecasting. Some of us are on the scientific committee, and this is brought in a broader community, and not just our chapter, but a broader prediction community in Europe and also in the US. And this workshop is really dedicated to talk about more philosophical challenges or sort of questions to be discussed of what we want to achieve in the near future as a field and as a community and so forth. Check out the website, and we will soon be accepting participation. So if you're interested in participating, you'll be able to do so from September on, I believe. Next. And we're also writing lots of proposals as a community. So I think a big part of our recent success and advancing our activities and really getting going has been the initiative to write a cost action proposal together. We really came together and talked about what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it. We got a really strong community around the action proposal going. And this has been essentially led by ESTEM. The cost action proposal, unfortunately, was rejected. However, we are now rewriting it, and we will resubmit this year. And this year, I will take over as the principal proposer. But the same people will be still involved. And for those of you who are already on the action, we will write shortly. I will write an email to meet again and to talk about the changes. But again, if you know of people who are interested in participating, please do let us know. And part of the cost activities were to develop forecasting challenges. And we have now written down a proposal to allow us to do it, to allow us to build an infrastructure to actually set up forecasting challenges across a wide range of applications. And we wrote this it was an Oscars call, who look for for researchers to get in touch with European research infrastructures to develop services that are open access. And here again, we wanted to mount forecasting challenges, collaborating with LifeWatch ERIC. So the results of this proposal should come out in about, I don't know, three or 4 months, I hope. But this will give us as a community a lot of room to propose and develop European oriented forecasts or forecast challenges adapted to European settings. Next. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. Raise your hands. This was our cost action symposium in 2024 when we originally set this up, and we are planning to update this. Next slide. By increasing representation of social scientists, more non-academic partners, and also to get more computer scientists onto the cost action. If you have any ideas, or if you know someone, or if you're one of those, sorry, I got kicked off I got kicked off the screen. So if you want to participate, please do let us know again. I think it would be great to have as many different voices and research ideas as possible integrated, and be very open to new partners and collaborators. Next. Yes. So for me, this is it. Now, working groups will be covered by Emily.
Yep. I think that's me, at least this working group. So hi, everybody. I'm Emily, and we've been developing working groups. Everyone sort of said there's been this sort of momentum behind us this year, and one of the extra things that we have worked on is creating groups to work together on particular projects. And with myself and Vicky, we've been leading working group 1, which is sort of a few months old now, and we're working to define predictive success and quality criteria for ecological forecasting. So we've currently got 32 members signed up. If you're not currently a member but you're interested in joining, please do let us know. And this working group's main aim is to develop a more holistic consideration of predictive success and quality. So not just looking at accuracy and precision, but also including things like, was it useful for developing action, and trying to really bring in that sort of applied practical element of forecasting into how we consider, how we sort of evaluate our predictions. We've submitted 2 funding applications already to try and support this project. We're aiming to host a hybrid workshop and then also develop a sort of conference-based workshop. We're going to try first at the British Ecological Society hopefully in December. Unfortunately, one of our funding applications wasn't successful, and we're still waiting on hearing from the second, but we're going to explore more funding options. The proposal for the lunchtime workshop has been submitted, so we're also waiting on hearing for that. But so far, progress is being made, and we're excited to see where this goes. That's all from me for that one.
Yeah, and I can jump in on this one for working group 2. So this is much more in its infancy. This is just kind of the start of an idea right now, but the idea here is to kind of consider what we can use individual-based data for in ecological forecasting, and so to kind of explore the potential there for using these really nice individual-based data sets that exist. And so the idea would be to submit this as a BES cross-journal special feature, so we could hopefully solicit papers that are related to either like case studies, some sort of methods development, or other conceptual insights that might be useful and kind of related to individual-based data. And yeah, so it's really early. Kind of the idea is that we will submit the proposal to BS and to see if we can get the special feature accepted. And then if so, we will bring people in. But kind of, I think we would like to also do a conceptual paper related to the topic that we could work on regardless of whether or not the special feature is accepted. So this is something that we're just starting now, but it's worth keeping on the radar, especially if you have relevant papers in the pipeline related to use of individual-based data in ecological forecasting. So stay tuned for that.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Button.
Okay. So because this is a bit related to what I talk about in terms of the workshop and the cost action and the Oscars proposal. So essentially, we really are trying to be practical. So we don't just want to write opinion pieces and concept pieces, because there's been already quite a lot in this area, of course, done. And while it is, of course, important to discuss new concepts of forecasts, especially in European setting, and also synthesize information, one important thing we want to achieve as the community, as a community, is to also be practical and develop forecasts for a wide range of applications and make them usable by people who are not computer scientists or very quantitative ecologists, right? So can be used in a broad setting. And for this, we are developing challenges, and some of those challenges include the workshop part, which is about shrub density in Doñana, as already discussed, but also trying to include invertebrates and other species, for instance, the Iberian lynx and the rabbits. These are also part of the challenges we want to develop. I don't know if Tom is here to talk about the bird forecasts. Probably not. I can say it then. So another thing that we are also actively engaged in is to use these fantastic data sets on bird counts and abundances across Europe, which have been consolidated in European bird EBCC. I forgot the entire acronym, what it stands for. But we've been in contact with several of the partners. And we've got already okay from the Spanish side and from the Netherlands and from UK to use bird counts to develop forecasts and forecasting challenges. So this will be, for instance, as part of the cost action and as well as the Oscars proposal, but more broadly for us to be used and to work with as a community. And then the app. This is really exciting. And I think Patricia wanted to talk about the app. Yes. Next slide. Oh, no, never mind. I already talked about this. Next, yes, there we go.
So I will jump in. This is a project on which basically Baylor was working most on. So I will present her work. And so we talk a lot about different forecasting activities, but we actually do not have any database where we will have them summed up. And this is something what this application, which I'm going to introduce you right now, it's supposed to do. So basically we want to build comprehensive database of forecasting activities in Europe. You can see, next slide, please. It has a couple of tabs you can go through if you want to check it. This one is for someone who is new to forecasting and wants to get clear on specific terms. Next slide, please. Then if you want to see spatially where the forecasts are within Europe, you will find it in this tab. And if you click on a point, you will pop up window where you can see some information about that forecasting activity. For example, here you see We have forecasting activity in Finnish Meteorological Institute. And you can also get directly to the project website if they will provide it. Next slide, please. And the same thing, but in the table format, you will find in this tab in this application, in this website, and you can filter here. As you see right now, we have just like one registered forecast so far, but you can register. And next slide, please. You can register your forecasting activity using and submit your application, and Biller will add you to the map. And you can do it if you do forecasting, but also if you are ecological modeler and think that your ecological model has potential to become a forecast, or if you are someone who is collecting data which are open and shareable and you would like to turn them into certain forecast, you are also very welcome to fill this form. And this is still in progress. And so stay tuned and we will inform you more about possibilities to filling these details and what is the potential of this app. So once we have this information gathered, we would like to find out what are challenges the researchers are encountering when they are building a forecast and to somehow offer them support. And also, for example, support in a way of networking, so we can refer you to someone with similar experience based on your submission. Yeah, so stay tuned for this. Next slide, please. And Maria already talked a lot about forecasting activity in Doñana National Park, which is really connected with nature conservation. And for the workshop, we had in February in Biospace 25, we have developed this application. The main idea was that everything should be running in cloud. So this is currently running in Amazon. We wanted to make it in such a way that it's reusable and very automatized. That means that your data will be running through your model, which will be plugin based on GitHub action. Where you write down, for example, you want to run this model when new data are coming or every day at 9 o'clock in the morning, because, for example, you will have different API calls connected to the data. Yeah, and this is just, since you need to show somehow your results to the end users, friendly dashboard is desirable. So we decided to use a Shiny package in R. Everything is built in R. Basically, if you know how to code in R, you can do this thing. And the GitHub, where all the codes are stored, is available. It was one of the first slides Maria was presenting. And so in this GitHub, this is basically hosted, everything on the Amazon cloud, and you see our structure. Everything can be reused. One thing which is still missing in this is the forecasting challenge that we haven't added yet. And that would mean that anyone who would like to compare his own predictions on the same data can update the predictions to this website, and they will be checked towards our predictions which we have developed, and it can get better. So this is one next step which we hope to incorporate. Plus, we want to make it more like user-friendly as well. And these are two main things which we are gonna work on in building this app. And the next workshop will be in next year in January. If you are planning to join the biogeographical conference in Aarhus, then you are welcome. And I guess there will be the freshest new results of this app. And yeah, so next slide, I think it will be just like another tab which we have where we spatially have showed the NDVI prediction based on species Levandula stoechas. Higher the NDVI, darker the color, and spatial, it's basically the Doñana National Park. So the end users can check it in this way. It's a very like preliminary this thing. and we want to incorporate more models. Here are more algorithms as well to do this calculation, so you can choose more of it. So stay tuned for this as well. And next slide. Yeah.
Okay, this is back to me. So that's sort of a recap of what we've been up to in the past year as the Ecological Forecasting chapter for Europe. We'd now like to just gather some of your thoughts on what's happened in the last year. So you can either grab your phone quickly and scan this QR code to join the Mentimeter online, or head to menti.com and enter this code. I'm going to just share a different screen now so we can all do it together. But quick 20 seconds to scan your QR code. Everyone do it, even if you're part of the committee. And then I'm just going to swap my screen now. Can you all now see a different screen? Yes, a year of change. Brilliant. Okay, so yes, we have been through a year of change. I mean, I feel like we say this every year and every year gets a bit crazier, but we've had big political changes in Europe, but also globally, which have impacted everyone. Like war and civil unrest across the continent and beyond, extreme weather events and changes in technology, the rise of generative AI. So lots of things going on, which maybe are having impacts on us personally or in our work and research. So the first question then is to ask you, so using that code, you should now be able to enter into the app. How have changes in the past year impacted you personally? So have they impacted you, I guess, mental health or physical health, or impacts on family and friends, changes to you personally for this slide? So I just give everyone a minute to think about that and enter an answer. Stress. Oh yes. So you should see the results then popping up on your screen in real time. Okay, so lots of similar things coming out here then. So uncertainty, anxiety and stress, loss of sleep, loss of professional opportunities. That's absolutely, yeah, terrifying, isn't it, really? The options are becoming limited. Yeah, just 10 more seconds for anyone that wants to enter anything else. Still some hope. That's nice. That's good. Okay, let's move on to the next one then. So now thinking rather about you personally, how have changes in the past year impacted your work? Again, just taking a minute to think about that and enter your answers. I'm trying to read them out, but they keep jumping around. So some positives in there. So opportunities in terms of AI, for example. But yeah, challenges with loss of funding, less time for work, loss of motivation, loss of focus, funding. Did anyone want to unmute and expand on anything that they've written in those boxes? No. Who said increase in opportunities for AI? Who was pleased by that?
Me.
Emily.
Yeah, so I feel like it's easy to focus on all of the negative things, and there definitely are quite a few at the moment. But for me personally, this will come up a bit later as well with the steering committee. From joining the steering committee, I feel like I've seen a lot of opportunities and a lot of people that are, despite difficult situations, really enthused about our field and about the work we can do. And yeah, one of those is the rise in machine learning, and I think for me, I see it as an opportunity to do something new. But I also feel that there's opportunities with the community and the people we have to continue to do things. Slightly happier tone.
Thank you, Emily. That's a nice positive spin. And yeah, we're going to think about that actually. That leads on quite nicely. So thinking about how changes in the past year have maybe altered the role of ecological forecasting. Do we think that ecological forecasting is less of a priority, more important than ever, or really no change in the past year? Okay, so most people saying it's more important than ever. Yeah, I think that's a nice way to look at it. I think we've got a lot of work to do, but hopefully we do have something really meaningful to contribute, I hope. Okay, let's jump on to the next one. So this is put a point on the graph in this sense. So this is looking at how changes have altered the challenges presented to us versus the opportunities. So if you think there's more opportunities and more challenges, you're putting a point in the top right, fewer opportunities and fewer challenges, bottom left, or any combination thereof. So more opportunities and fewer challenges, top left, fewer opportunities, more challenges, bottom right. Okay, so we're all pretty consistently agreed that there are more challenges. But most thinking quite positively that also then is changes are presenting more opportunities to us. Did anyone want to expand on anything on that, on their thoughts? No? Okay. Maybe opportunity to expand on that now. So what are some of the challenges that we foresee? So obviously we're all expecting more challenges. What are some of those challenges? But also more importantly, how might the European chapter of the Ecological Forecasting Initiative help? So thinking about some of the things we've discussed today, what we've been doing in the past year, how might we, leverage this community and the resources we have available to us to support with some of those challenges? So give you a couple of minutes to think about this. Okay, so the European chapter might be able to broaden the range of available funding to support ecological forecasting work, provide more training, building that community, demonstrating the practical relevance of ecological forecasting, keeping up with new training approaches, networking, seminars. The European chapter could help raise awareness with policymakers. That's an exciting idea, yeah. Learning opportunities, benefits and limitations of AI, training opportunities again. Yeah, less funding is the challenge, but the European Forecasting Initiative allows us to put our efforts together, and that's a nice one, yeah. Just give 20 seconds for any more coming in.
I think that one thing that keeps popping up is the training, the training opportunities and I think this is really, really critical because when you think about, whenever there's new, sort of new methods, new approaches, they are often as successful as you're able to really get new, younger people or incoming early career researchers to actually use the tools and so it doesn't just stay like a niche And this has also been something that's been very actively pursued by the Ecological Forecasting Initiative in the US, is to actually train people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a key also for us.
And so in the European context, what do you think we should be doing over and above what EFI are doing in, the international EFI are doing?
So I think two things is that training should involve, in my opinion, also if forecasting is also a tool to engage policymakers and managers, training should also be for these audiences, right? So say I have now been at a ecological society meeting in Spain. And there are now like applications popping up where they are making predictions, or they're developing like an app that people, like users, citizen scientists, can make predictions for bees, for wild bee population trends. And they are like point and click, but they teach people what a prediction is and how to do it and what they think, and they get them engaged into actually looking at bees, not just over time and in different spots. And so I think we need to do this on one hand, and this is of course very context specific, right? So the applications that are used in the US, of course, the infrastructure may be the same, or like the idea of the infrastructure may be the same, but the applications and the context is very different in Europe. So this needs to be adapted to our context. And on the other hand, also from a more technical side, so if we want to train quantitative ecologists, so people that are quantitatively minded, we also think discovering also with Patricia and with Biller and Sanne and many people who are working on the challenges to actually build up, that some of the infrastructure we cannot translate one-to-one because there are different resources available in the US that are not available to us and vice versa. So, so in this sense as well, we have different challenges, different advantages, disadvantages. And so in this sense, the EFI community or the European community is important to set the context for the availability of infrastructures we have here. Like, for instance, there's more and more European infrastructures popping up to do heavy ecological computational activities, like developing digital twins for the oceans, LifeWatch is for terrestrial systems, right? But these are for Europe. And so the training needs to couple to this as well, I think.
Thanks, Maria. Did anyone else want to come in on that, or shall we move on? Okay, we will move on. So I think this is the final question. What are the top priorities for ecological forecasting in the year ahead? So looking forward, what do we need to be prioritizing? Mm-hmm. Connecting with social scientists and decision makers. This is coming up again and again. Yeah. And
again,
users
very
and
important.
Policymakers on board. Yeah. Yeah. From theory to practice.
And in my opinion, that I've tried to engage now with a lot of the decision makers for conservation of lynx and of rabbits in the Iberian Peninsula, and also now of wolves and bears. They are interested, and this is like the time. This is the era of predictions. Everyone wants to do predictions. They're really interested, but they are often suspicious of us ecologists because they have had bad experiences before, or they don't really, so that there is a lot of opportunity and need to build bridges.
Yeah, I think a lot of those top priorities are absolutely along those lines. So looking at the application, developing actionable forecasts, end users and policymakers from theory to practice. So yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of agreement there. Brilliant. Someone said uncertainty, validation, and impact. Did you want to expand on that?
There's not really so much to expand. That was me.
Is
I
it you
just think we
again?
always need to improve uncertainty. Always will be one of my top priorities. Um, and I think validation and impact go hand in hand with like the end users really. Like if you want to develop impact, you need something that's validated. Otherwise, we're just giving them a guess. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Emily. Okay, I think that is it from me. Let me go back to our previous screen then. And I think then I am handing over to someone.
Yep.
Kara.
Awesome. Yeah, so we've been talking about lots of cool stuff that we've been working on, both within the steering committee and also the wider community. But we're at a point now where I guess some of our founding members are going to be rotating off. And so we are looking for new members of the steering committee. So quickly, I just wanted to share just some experiences from the current members. So I'll just say personally that I've been on for, I think, almost a year now, something around there. And it has been such a nice experience to be part of the committee. I think you see all of these cool things we've been doing. From my perspective, it has been such a great way to interact with people who are working on extremely different, they're using different methods, working in different systems, getting exposed to lots of different approaches and doing really cool things. Like we've worked on all these proposals together, and it's like so much work when you just put it all together like this. But individually, it has felt like it's just been easy. Like it hasn't felt like it has been too demanding, but you still get to be involved with so many cool different initiatives. So it has been such a good experience. And so I think maybe Vicky, you wanted to share a few thoughts from your perspective.
Yes, I guess so. I was one of the founding committee members of the chapter, and it really, I think the development of the chapter really came out of a series of meetings and conversations where there was a real obvious need and real momentum in the ecological forecasting community in Europe, but trying to really bring the European community together hadn't yet been done. And so this felt like a really good opportunity, really obvious need for it. And from the sort of very start, where there were a few of us trying to think about what were the priorities and how were we going to gain momentum and get engagement from the community, to where we are now and seeing the number of activities we've been involved in the past couple of years and what we've got planned coming forward, working groups, forecasting challenges, conferences, seminars. It's quite exciting to see where we've got to in quite a short space of time. And that's really owing to the community that we've built and the steering committee members as well. So massive thanks to everyone for being involved. I've really enjoyed it. I think, like Kara says, so to reiterate what Kara says, it's a way of being involved and seeing what's going on across a huge, across the continent, but also lots of different people and contexts and activities going on without being completely like too onerous on any one person. I think we are a really good team. And for those of you that might be considering joining the steering committee, I'd say absolutely do it. And, once you're within the steering committee, you can see what's going on behind the scenes, but also choose which bits of that you want to be more or less involved in, and maybe even push forward your own ideas and make that something that the rest of the community gets on board with and takes forward as well. So that's been super exciting. And I will be quite sad to step down from the committee itself, but I'm still working in working group 1 with Emily and planning to be involved in everything I possibly can find time for over in the coming years, and excited to see where the chapter goes as well.
Yeah, and so in terms of like demands, it's really, we have a meeting once a month. We have the seminar series, which we should show up to, but really other than that, it is as intense as you want it to be. So you get involved with whatever you are most interested in. Does anyone else in the current steering committee want to add any thoughts?
Sure, I'll just say I've really appreciated how well organized it is. The administrative side of the organization, in large part thanks to Jodie, her involvement, has made it a great pleasure because we can talk about and do the kind of content of the forecasting work rather than talk too much about administrative processes. Though there are important things to talk about there, like operating procedures, so that it can be a very good community with good foundations to work upon as well. So there are some things like that, but they're just as important as putting in applications for funding and the workshops as well. So yeah, just second what everybody has already said. It's been a real pleasure to serve. It's not really felt like serving, it's just felt like having fun because everybody's such a good team as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and just to echo that, we all need to thank Jodie so much. Jodie is the backbone of this group. She makes everything smooth and fun. She always brings positive energy to everything we do. So Jodie is really an important member of the group.
Even though she's usually joining at the break of dawn from the States.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, can you skip Vicky? Yep, so and one more, just real quick. Yes, so we're looking, I believe, 4 new members of the steering committee. So yes, if you're interested, just go one more ahead, Vicky. There are many ways that you can submit. So we have QR code here. There's a Google form that you can submit an application to. So yes, if you are at all interested, please just submit an application. It's been nothing but a positive experience for sure. Nice.
There's a question from Charlotte on how we can join working groups if you're interested. Just popped up in a chat channel.
Yeah, and I think the next slide is just a bunch of like kind of related things. So yeah, the best way to get involved is to join the Google group for sure. So get on the Google group. That is going to be our main point of contact for everything. And we have working group related like discussions, I forget what they're called, like threads or channels or something like that on the Google groups there. So really the best way to get involved is to join the Google group and kind of join in on the discussions there. But yes, so I think there's lots of ways to get involved. We touched on all of these as we've gone through this presentation so far. So yeah, we're looking for seminar speakers. Please, if you're willing and have something cool you want to share, volunteer, or if you know somebody else that you think would be good, please reach out. Also, we're having conference activities. The more motivated people we have in those different workshops and the what is the word for the, I'm forgetting the word, when you have a session, there we go, for the conference sessions, please submit abstracts to those. That would be great. Also, when the Shiny app is live, I think the more people we have using that, sharing that, the better a resource it will be. So stay tuned on the Google group, we'll announce it there. And then also the cost action next year and other proposals. If you're interested, it would be really great to get involved with those as well. And again, just join the Google group, all the information will be there.
Okay, now this is me. So I am Jody Peters. I'm the community manager, and I'm very happy to help and appreciate all the nice things that you've said. But I am based in the US, and I wanted to share a little bit more about the broader Ecological Forecasting Initiative community. It did start in the US, so it is US biased in a lot of ways, but we really, with our goal with developing chapters, is to be able to meet the needs of people in the regions where they're at the time zones that they're at, with the policies and the resources and funding that they have available to them. And so in my role, I I strive to help support the community and the chapters. And so just wanted to share a little bit more about some of the resources that we have with the Ecological Forecasting Initiative more broadly. So go ahead to the next slide, Vicki. And I don't want to take up too much time because I want to still have some time for questions, but just wanted to share a little bit about how I think about how the FE community is structured. And I'm basing this on this community participation model that comes from the CSCCE community, but thinking about conveying information and contributing, having people collaborate and co-create. So actually do two more, Vicki. So we have different ways that people can get information through the newsletter, through the Google group, and through Slack. And then we have these opportunities that are give us ways where people can collaborate and co-create. So the community we want to set it up to make it useful for you at whatever level you have and whatever time you have. So if you are at a point where you just need to get information, newsletter, Google group, Slack, those are all good places to go. If you're interested in jumping in more, working groups, chapters, steering committees, those are the places to go. And these numbers are number of people in parentheses. And then one more, Vicki. Underpinning all of this is our FE membership. And so this is membership for the broader FE community, and membership is free, and it is just a way for people to affirm their commitment to the community of practice around ecological forecasting. So you can sign up for that if you're interested, and if you want, we send out mugs to people who become members. Okay, next one. If you go to ecoforecast.org, you can find out more information in the About section, in the Resources section, or other places in the on the website. And then go to the next one, Vicki. And I just wanted to share some examples of these resources. So you can see the map of membership. There's a QR code to get you to the application form for that. And again, you can see the US bias there. These are people that have signed up to be members. So if you think about the FE Google group, there's about 110 people that are on that group. And then we've got about 50 people who have signed up for membership in Europe. And so you can participate in ways that you want. So if you want to just join the Google group, you can do that. If you want to become a member, you can do that. If you want to join working groups. So really, my point is participate in the ways that work for you. But then also, if you're looking for resources, we've got our YouTube channel, which has the European seminars, but also has other seminars and recordings and resources. We've got our Cubes Hub, which has some open educational resources. If you go under the resources tab on the webpage, there's additional educational resources that aren't on Cubes. We use Zotero to keep track of ecological forecasting papers, either ones that have been produced within the FE community, as well as others that people share on Slack. And then we have a GitHub repository where we have code for lots of different activities in FE. And then the Slack group as well is another place where more of the day-to-day conversations take place with lots of different channels there. And I think, one last announcement. So there is Maria mentioned the ANdiNA conference, which is next June. We also have our annual FE conference that the Canadian chapter is hosting. And that's going to be most likely in either July or August of next summer. And that'll be in the Toronto area of Canada. So just wanted to put that on your radars as well as another opportunity to get together with the broader FE community.